App. Now, live from the Matt Black Kia Studios.
What a move!
Here's Josh Hennig.
This might be the return of Jalen Hurts. Yes, it is realistic that Jalen Hurts might return this Sunday. Josh Hennig hanging out with you on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. And of course, you can hear the Eagles kick off this Sunday at 4:25 right here on 97.3 ESPN. I'll get you the rundown, if you didn't hear it earlier on the Sports Bash, of the Eagles injury report. Plus, we will get into the full weekend slate with Andy McNamrara. Joins us every Friday to talk football here on 97.3 ESPN. And of course, you can join the conversation as well at 609-403-0973. And you can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. So, what is that Eagles injury report? Well, there's not a lot on there that realistically wasn't expected. There was no earth-shattering news, but it was a little interesting how they characterize things. Because as you know, the Eagles have been, I'll call it a bit non-committal, right, to what they're doing with Hurts. But there were a couple things that did happen today that were a little eye-opening. One is the fact that we knew that Lane Johnson and Vontae Maddox were not going to play, and I personally have been conjecturing all week that my theory was that Josh Sweat wasn't going to play and that they opened the practice window for Robert Quinn so he would get some of the Josh Sweat reps this Sunday. I got to admit, I'm a little surprised that Sean Bradley is out. You know, I wasn't expecting that. I figured he'd be a guy who might get some reps and fill in on Sunday, but he's out with a wrist injury. And Hurts is listed as questionable. Miles Sanders is good to go. And it looks like aside from that, you're pretty much, everybody's available for Sunday. But the key for Hurts is he's listed as questionable. And that's basically, in my understanding, if you were listening to Jeff Mosher earlier on the Sports Bash, Jeff Mosher, Eagles Insider from InsideTheBirds.com and the Inside the Birds podcast, he was explaining that, the Eagles could be very much looking at this as we are preparing if Hurts is going to play, but if he wakes up and comes to the stadium on Sunday morning and his shoulder might be not where we want it to be or where he's comfortable with, then he might not play. And then in that case, they got Gardner Minshew. The thing is with this is that you should be able to beat the Giants without Jalen Hurts being out there. Because one, you've already beaten the Giants this year, right? You already have taken it to them and shown them that when you have the starters on the field, you can crush them. The question is, why is it important for Jalen to play then if you should be able to beat these guys? And for me, it's as simple as this. I want Hurts out there. I've said this for weeks for that last game because I don't want him not playing for basically 30 plus days and then running out there in a playoff game. But does the Eagles need Hurts to be out there? The problem is that last week showed you that this team obviously has some flaws in their approach to the game. Now, if you want to just sit there and say that they had a bad day at the office, all right. I'm not going to say you're wrong because they certainly did have a bad day. That's 100% true. But I do think there is something a little concerning to the idea that you were supposed to beat the Saints. You didn't. So now, are we pushing the panic button to put him out there? I hope that's not the case. I genuinely hope that the perspective of this team is not looking at Jalen Hurts to save them from their own mistakes. Because ultimately, if you don't have 4 turnovers against the Cowboys, you probably beat them on Christmas Eve. If you played, I don't know what, 30, 40% better offensively this past Sunday against the Saints, you probably beat them. And if we're all honest, if Minshew doesn't throw that interception with his back against his own end zone, do the Eagles drive down the field and score? We're not even having this conversation right now. According to Jordan Raanan, who covers the Giants for ESPN, he says that Leonard Williams and Azeez Ojulari are not practicing this week, and they were not going to play for the Eagles. And that Brian Daboll basically says that he's going to make his decisions tonight. And that, the take of the Giants guys is that, everyone might start for the Giants, but they're not going to finish the game for them. Well, isn't that the strategy for the Eagles as well? Adoree Jackson listed as doubtful for the game. So is there really a likelihood you see their best corner? Their center, Feliciano, is questionable. It's doubtful we're going to see him as well. So the Giants are trotting out there with basically as few players they can get away with. Then why do we need Jalen Hurts to win the game this week? It's a catch-22 because I said, on one hand, I personally want to see Hurts out there so we get some reps, but I don't think you need him to beat this team. Or do you? And I think that's really where the rub is ultimately. I think the rub is that this organization, for as talented of a roster as they have built the roster with the idea that it is built around Jalen Hurts. Everything about this team's excellence this season has been a byproduct of Jalen Hurts being the maestro, of Jalen Hurts going out there and orchestrating and making things happen. And you could argue that even though this team, if they started Gardner Minshew for the full season, they're not 13 wins good. They're 9 wins good? Right? Maybe 10 wins. I mean, if you ask some people, the Eagles had a soft schedule, right? So the Eagles had an easy schedule this year, then maybe they are a 10-win team with Gardner Minshew. But I believe that Jalen Hurts is personally responsible for about 4 wins this year. So in my mind, this is a 9-win team without him. That's how I look at it. And if they are a 9-win team without Hurts, then maybe you do need him just a little bit out there. Maybe you do need him for psychological more than literal. Get some of your text in just a bit at 609-403-0973 is the text board. Also, you can DM the show through the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Andy McNamara joining us coming up in about 10 minutes from now to get more into the NFL. And the NFL's decision to basically wipe out the Bills-Bengals game and now have this convoluted postseason setup, I don't think is a good look for the league. I think that there could be some real problematic ramifications from this stuff. Because on one hand, I understand why you ultimately decided to not play this game. I get it. I'm not oblivious. I'm not naive. I understand what is going on here. What's going on here is you are saying that you want to keep the season and postseason on schedule, and that neither of these teams were playing to get into the postseason, and they already had locked up their divisions by win percentage, and they already locked up their playoff spots before that game on Monday night. But it doesn't explain away the fact that the team that's getting the short end of the stick here is the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals, if they would have beat the Bills, would have been in prime position to compete for the 1 seed. And you don't just take away their opportunity from them, you also void from them the same privilege you're giving to the Bills and the Chiefs. All because they have one more loss than the other two teams. I told you guys yesterday, I put it out on Twitter, there should be a neutral site if the Bills, Bengals, and or Chiefs all play each other this postseason. But instead, they are only giving that leniency, we'll call it, or what, I don't even know what the word is, honestly. They're basically giving the Chiefs and Bills something they're not giving Cincinnati, all because Cincinnati has one more loss. I think it's completely unfair and it's completely ridiculous. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan at all of how they're treating Cincinnati. And, you know, I was listening to Fitz and Harry earlier today, Jason Fitz, Harry Douglas on 97.3 ESPN. And I really like the way Harry Douglas put it. So I wanted to play it for you guys here because I think that Harry Douglas, former NFL wide receiver with the Falcons, this is what he said earlier today on 97.3 ESPN about the Bills-Bengals situation.
There's a possibility that these two teams could face in the playoffs. That game, in my eyes, has to be played at a neutral site. It cannot be played in Cincinnati, and I'll even say it can't be played at Buffalo just because, you know, all the teams potentially could have opportunity to be the number one seed. That game has to be played at a neutral site for the mental psyche of players for the Cincinnati Bengals, for the mental psyche of players for the Buffalo Bills.
You know, a lot of the things that were done this week were because of the players' input. And it felt like the only people who were not considered for input on how any of this impacts the Bengals was the Bengals. And while every team owner voted to approve and push through this alternative playoff scenario, the one team that didn't vote for it was Cincinnati, because now Cincinnati, instead of being put in the same boat as Buffalo and Kansas City, they might end up drawing the short straw and have to travel on the road to another city, all because of what happened on Monday Night Football. And it's completely not their fault. It's not fair, ultimately, and it just makes you wonder. Over on the text board at 609-403-0973. Jeff in Ocean City says, Josh, I think it's 50% panic, 50% get Jalen some action this Sunday. Well, first of all, if you're up by 21 at halftime, you should be able to get away with playing the backups and win the game. I don't know if Ian Book would play the full second half. I feel like there would be Minshew would still get a bunch of those reps just because you want Minshew to be sharp if something were, God forbid, to happen to Jalen in the postseason. I don't know if that's an Ian Book game. I feel like an Ian Book game is more of a preseason situation than a final game of the regular season situation. Now, if Minshew comes in there, throws 2-3 touchdowns, and they're up 35-0, then if you want to put Ian Book in, I could see that. All right, let's get more into the NFL. It's a busy football weekend. A lot of ramifications this weekend. A lot of players are not playing. So we'll get into all that and more coming up next with Andy McNamara. He joins me each week here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle.
Tom McCarthy here from Westwood One. Join us for a special NFL Week 18 Saturday doubleheader. Up first, it's AFC West action with the Kansas City Chiefs at the Las Vegas Raiders. Then Jason McCourty and I will be in Jacksonville for an AFC South showdown between the Jaguars and the Tennessee Titans, with the divisional title and a playoff ticket on the line. Don't miss any of the action.
It's NFL Saturday on 97.3 ESPN. Coverage begins at 4 p.m.
Why would someone looking for a mortgage at the Jersey Shore take a loan from a company in Detroit or North Carolina or some other far-off place? Online mortgages promise a lot but don't always deliver. First Bank of Sea Isle City knows the Jersey Shore. We are local lenders. We use local appraisers and provide in-house processing. We understand the unique obstacles of financing in Cape May County. Don't take a chance. Local banking is better. Let us guide you. First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Member FDIC. Equal housing lender. Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours.
Spilled your milkshake? Quick, the quicker picker upper. Bounty picks up spills quicker. And each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less than the leading ordinary brand. So you can get back to your milkshake.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours.
It's JR from wagerpro.com and jrwins.com. Folks, I've uncovered huge, razor-sharp information on this matchup tonight in pro basketball. Chicago coming to Philadelphia. And guys, I love it so much, I've decided to give it out absolutely free right now on my famous 30-second recorded message. No strings attached. Call, listen, and put this one in. 800-499-3733. That's 800-499-3733. Call now, 800-499-3733. Get the point spread winner of tonight's matchup between Chicago and Philadelphia in pro basketball free on a 30-second message from yours truly, jrwins.com. Call 800-499-3733. Visit wagerpro.com and follow me at Real Radio JR.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
If you are 65 or older, you know this. Watching your hard-earned dollars fly out the window on healthcare costs is so frustrating, but here's some great news. If you missed the December 7th deadline for open enrollment, it's not too late. Here's something that can really help. It's MediShare 65 Plus. MediShare is a community of Christians who share each other's healthcare bills. People who encourage and pray for each other too. MediShare 65 Plus is a low-cost option for those with Medicare Parts A and B, and it fills in the gaps where Medicare stops. It's a great way to fight inflation too. You can lock in one low monthly price for up to 10 years. Plus, it's easy. You can use any Medicare-approved doctor or get 24/7 telehealth access from the comfort of your home. So worth looking into. MediShare 65 Plus is open for enrollment. And if you join right now before January 31st, your second month will be free. So don't miss this chance. Call 844-SHARE-65. That's 844-SHARE-65. 844-SHARE-65.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep your operation running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, Maria in Miami, and Jules in Troy, taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with high-quality supplies for every industry, plus real-time product availability and access to experts ready to help. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're listening to Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Josh Hennig here on Game Night 97.3 ESPN, FM 97.3 ESPN, mobile app, being brought to you by Jenkins & Sons. One call does it all. No need to call the drain guy, the heater guy, the plumbing guy. Jenkins Technicians got you covered for new heating and air installation, service and maintenance, ductless air conditioning systems, water heaters, boilers, leaks, whatever you need done. Just call Jenkins at 609-641-6262 and visit them online at jenkinsandsons.com. It is the final weekend of the NFL regular season. We have a bunch of games, a bunch of stuff to get into with friend of the show, Andy McNamara, is back for another Friday edition here of Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. Andy, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, brother. How are you? First time with you in 2023, so excited to be back on.
2023, you've survived 3+ years with me.
Wow, really? That's crazy. Oh, man.
I think the first time I had you on a show was what, 2018, I think?
I think so. Yeah, we did a couple of sweet draft shows and all that. Here's to at least 3 more. And we'll see after that.
Yeah, there's a mutual option in the contract in about 2 years. You know,
right.
The fourth year is the voided year anyway. So
that's right. That's
I gotta cut the salary cap overall number down. You know,
right. I'll restructure the contract.
The retirement clause is sitting in there too that can void everything. But you know.
Yeah, right.
So first of all, let me get your take on this whole situation with basically the Bengals getting shafted, because I know you are a Browns fan, but you have also talked glowingly about Joe Burrow in the past.
Yeah.
So, you know, it really feels like the league was like, hey, Bengals, we know you had a shot at the seed, but hey, man, it doesn't matter because we're moving forward. And you know what? Take a long walk on a short pier.
That's it, man. That's it. Right. And I have to be honest. If it was my team, and I'm sure for listeners, if it was the Eagles, we'd be furious. Absolutely furious. Right. I can't be a hypocrite here and say like, oh, it's okay. Because if it was me, I'd be outraged. But at the same point, it's kind of like what do you do? Like the NFL, I thought through the whole DeMar Hamlin situation. And by the way, tremendous guys FaceTiming his team today. Love it. Just fantastic news there.
Can I just pat myself on the back real quick for that? Because I got criticized by people on Tuesday because I kept telling people when this happened to Keontae Johnson in Florida, the college basketball player, he was in ICU for 3 days. And then he was good. He was good to move on, right? Well, what is today? Is today Friday, right?
Yep.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I think my 3-day timeline held up, but nobody will ever admit that they were wrong for criticizing me for it.
Right. You got it. You nailed it. It's great that he's up and on. And now we return our minds to the football side of it, right? And from the football side, the Bengals got hosed. Straight up. They got hosed. Now the other side of it is, okay, from the NFL, what was the other option? Were there other options put out there? It was also, okay, well, do you push the playoffs back and play another week? Well, that affects all the teams. This affects one team. And if you're a fan of that team, you're going to be really mad. And if you're not, you're going to be like, oh, well. And unfortunately, that's it, man. Unfortunately, hey, at least it's not a team we're a fan of. Bengals, SOL, buddy. That's it. What can you do?
Hey, man, it's still a good value bet. Most books is plus 400 for them to win the conference. So,
look, and listen, Bengals are still right there with the Bills and Chiefs in the AFC. Right there. They're healthy. They're ready. And you got to look at it this way, too. Could this be – look, teams are always looking for little chips on the shoulder, little extra motivators. It's a pretty good motivator if you're the Bengals. The NFL doesn't want you to win. They don't want they're against you. They don't want you to. They're okay. You know, people have been motivated for less. So I can see this as a motivator for the Bengals. Why not? You know, imagine them winning the Super Bowl. Be like, ha, take that, Goodell.
I mean, listen, the Packers and Giants have both won championships as road teams throughout the whole run, right? So, I mean, this won't be the first time a team has been, you know, stuck on the road for most of the postseason. I mean, now, the other part of this is this whole coin flip thing is the dumbest thing in the world.
That's
this whole thing where like, oh, well, you know, if the Ravens win on Sunday, we'll coin flip to see who gets home field advantage. It's like, I'm sorry, what?
That's dumb. Yeah, I think that's dumb, and I hate the Ravens more than the Bengals, so I'm really rooting for Cincinnati too. I dislike Cincinnati.
Cincinnati is still in the state. They're still in the state. You know, the Ravens are, you know, what, like, you know, 200 miles away.
Right. Well, they can stay there for all I care. I'll never set foot in Baltimore or Pittsburgh, Josh. So help me, never. But yeah, that's the coin toss thing is where it gets weird. And I think unnecessary. It's like, okay, and then they didn't have but okay, well, if you're going to shaft the Bengals for sure, then you have to look at it the other way and like, okay, well, I guess it might not be perfectly fair for the Ravens and have it go, okay, you didn't win the division and they didn't have a chance to. Well, the Bengals didn't have a chance to get the 1 seed, right? Like there's too much back and forth. Look, it's a tough spot. There was going to be no perfect answer to what the NFL could have done.
Right.
So hopefully the Bengals just go out and beat the Ravens and their super boring game packs of running the ball and kicking field goals and winning or losing by 3 points and scoring less than 15. And they put that to bed.
All right, let's get to some of the games that are of consequence this weekend. By the way, starting tomorrow, there will be 2 Saturday games, which can be heard here on 97.3 ESPN. Coverage begins at 4 o'clock. Nobody really is that bought into the Chiefs-Raiders games. So we'll move past that. Unless you're in fantasy finals, the answer is yes to whatever the question is, because everybody's going to play tomorrow in some capacity.
Yeah, all Chiefs. They still have something to play for. 9-point favorites. I take the Chiefs to cover that one. Raiders, what a joke.
Well, I just say yes because it's like if you're in your fantasy league final this weekend, which is, first of all, I feel bad for you. Second of all, you might have Josh Jacobs and Darren Waller coming off the IR, and so the answer is yes. Like, no, just start them all. It's probably gonna be a high scoring game, and honestly, probably the best thing to do is take the over 52.5 and have a good night.
Yeah, have some fun. But you're right. Not a lot of meat on the bone to go over there.
But the game I'm looking forward to, I will not back down from this. I have been riding the Jags train. I am all in on Doug Peterson. I wanted him to be coach of the year earlier this year. And I feel like if he wins this game tomorrow, you could sign, seal, and deliver him as one of the 3 finalists for coach of the year. Because this Jags team is riding high, and the Titans are starting Josh Dobbs.
That's right. Not even Malik Willis. We were talking about when he was drafted. I didn't like him as a prospect coming out of college. I liked him less when he went to the Titans. Come on. Josh Dobbs on my Browns. Good guy, very calm, cool. But you're playing him over your draft pick? Okay. That's a good job, Titans. Oh, yeah, they're in total free fall. They're getting some players back on defense, fine. We know they're going to try to run Derrick Henry a million times. And if Derrick Henry doesn't get 200 yards and 4 touchdowns, they don't have a shot. The Jags are in a spot where they're riding high. They got all the love. They got the emotion going. They got that mojo. And still, it's something where it's like, all right, you have a chance to control your own destiny. And you have a head coach who's won it all. You got that. You got your quarterback, your franchise quarterback, who has now been defunct from the Urban Meyer. Now he's rolling, right? He's going. So go beat the Titans. I think actually, Josh, we're looking at that over-under. I might take the under on it because I think Titans, they're trying to play Baltimore Ravens type football where they just clamp down, ball could play as ugly as possible. I don't think this is going to be high scoring, but I'm with you. I do hope the Jaguars win. That would be a fun story. And see what they do. I don't think they're going to do anything beyond that, obviously. But hey, just to get in with that franchise, coach of the year, Doug Peterson, to me.
Absolutely. Look at some of the Sunday games with Andy McNamara. You can follow him on Twitter at AndyMC81 for him and all of his 200 platforms and shows that he does out and about there. So on Sunday is interesting because the Dolphins need the Patriots to lose to get in. Now, it's kind of a weird thing because on one hand, you expect the Bills to come out there guns a-blazing for their teammate Hamlin. But on the flip side, what if the Bills be like, hey, first half guns a-blazing and then bench everyone for the second half of the Patriots come back and win? Like, but if you're the Dolphins, you're like, ooh.
Yeah, and no one would play the Grinch role better than Bill Belichick in this, right? Who better? Who better to say, we're going to win one for Hamlin? The stories come back, and Bill's like, no. But Bill, no. That's it. They just a total flatline kill. But I do think the Bills, this Patriots team, boy, what if they got a lot of searching to do, man. This team is not good. The offense is not good. the Bills are going to be super motivated. And but you're right. You know what? You can very easily Patriots like Bill Belichick's going to try to slow them down, shut them down early, and use that emotion against them, wear them out a little bit, and tire them out, and then go for it. So I think the Bills do win that one. I would pick them to cover the 7 personally. But listen, this would be the least surprising upset to me if Bill Belichick ruined a feel-good moment.
Now, here's the funny thing. The Bills could beat the Patriots, but if the Jets beat the Dolphins, the Steelers could be in the postseason, and the Steelers are playing a Browns team that just sent Jadeveon Clowney home.
Here's the thing. The Browns can get a quadfecta, whatever, of situations against the Steelers. Those awful rivals. Okay? Listen to that. You can eliminate them from the playoffs. You can give Mike Tomlin his first sub-500 season. Right. You can put them in last place. And I forget what the fourth one was. Probably make Ben Roethlisberger cry again with that gift that I have saved on my phone. Browns can do it. And you know what's different? They're embracing this role. So often we hear like coach like, oh, one does another game, whatever. But Kevin Stefanski, that team, they've been embracing it. Jadeveon Clowney, what a crybaby. The biggest, most giant 6'5" crybaby that there is. Blaming Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett, if you look at the advanced stats, he's the most double-team pass rusher in football. He's like, oh, he gets all the easy things. Are you kidding me? How about when he's getting double-teamed, Jadeveon, you move your big butt and you get to the quarterback, but you don't because you're a hired gun and a fake mercenary with 2 sacks this year, and you just go to get paid. I don't know if there's been a first-round pick in recent memory, more of a me guy and overhyped based on how he looks and has done less as to what he was drafted for than Jadeveon Clowney. Get home, get out of Cleveland, get out of Ohio, and get out of my life. That's enough. Jadeveon Clowney. What, 2 sacks, John? Come on. Oh, he's a good run stopper. Yeah, I pay a guy $10 million. I can get a guy in the 4th round every year who can stop the run. Come on.
So the Browns or Steelers win? Like I'm still waiting for an answer here.
Browns win, and they win it. I think they win it by a touchdown. I think look, Deshaun Watson, Kenny Pickett, baby hands Pickett. Now I'll give the man credit. I'll give Pickett credit. If it's close in a 1-score game, he's shown some moxie to be able to come back. I'll give the man some credit in his little hands. But you have Deshaun Watson and $230 million and him popping in that second half. You better, if you're Deshaun Watson and the Browns, be building off of that at this last game of the season. That second half in Washington was sensational. Now you got a tough division opponent, building you have had very little success in, and you have a chance to eliminate them from the playoffs. And I remember the other one. The 4th one was sweep the Steelers in a season for the first time since 1988. There's a lot to play for.
Also, Nick Chubb needs to have a big game in honor of Peyton Hillis. So,
Peyton, guy's saving his children. I think he's going to make it. I think he's. Last I heard,
he's doing okay. They said.
Oh my God! I got his Madden cover. I love the Rhino. I got the ticket right here at 2010 when they beat the Patriots. I was sitting in the dog pound. Peyton Hillis.
Of course you were
hurtling over. What a year for Peyton Hillis. Glad he's okay.
It's funny because here's the scenario. So if the Browns beat the Steelers, the Bills beat the Patriots can still make the postseason if Joe Flacco and the Jets beat the Dolphins, who are starting Skylar Thompson. Is there a worse quarterback matchup than old man Flacco versus Skylar Thompson? It feels like the undercard of a poor boxing fight.
Yeah, we're one step away from like Boxcar Hank fighting for a sandwich. I know that I think the answer to your question is no. There is no worse quarterback matchup you could get. That's terrible. That's absolutely wretched. And the Dolphins season resting on Skylar Thompson. Boy, that's what a loss. We talk about coach of the year and great jobs done. Miami's got some thinking to do after this year if they miss the playoffs, and even if they, what do you do with Tua? Concussion side, of course, right? You want the guy to be well, but you can't count on him. That's your franchise quarterback. You can't count on him, and your backup's Teddy Bridgewater and Skylar Thompson. And by the way, you paid Tyreek Hill a ton of cash. Yep. You're making deals to have that Super Bowl window, that division window open right now. So if you're the Dolphins, what do you do about Tua? Do you give up on him? Do you draft somebody else? Do you start packaging stuff to move up in a deep quarterback class? Do you look for a veteran? Do you look for a Derek Carr? I don't know. Like, there's some questions because you, like, Josh, tell me if I'm wrong here. You can't go into next year thinking you're going to have a championship window with Tua. You can't count on him. Not his fault. You can't count on him.
The health thing is a huge concern.
Yeah.
It's been an issue with him. It's one of the few things that me and Mike Gill agree on here on 97.3 ESPN is that we both have been against Tua because of the injury issues.
Yeah.
It's the same reason we're against Zion Williamson in the NBA. Like, you have these phenomenal quote unquote college stars, right, who can't stay healthy. And you're just like, how can I rely on a guy? It's funny you mentioned Derek Carr because I feel like I can find like 5 teams for him this offseason. And it's like, it's so weird because like the Raiders feel like they have no direction.
No.
This guy sacrificed everything for that organization. He took a pay cut when they were in Oakland so they could save on the tax number and took the money when they got to Vegas. And they're like, thanks for nothing, Derek. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, Devontae Adams came there because of, you know, and it's like, there's almost any organization would love to have this guy. And no offense to the Dolphins, they might not even get a whiff because depending on how they unload Carr, whether it's a trade or like I've double checked with his contract situation, is like, you're telling me that Washington, Carolina, Indianapolis, I mean, you know, there's a bunch of teams out there. I mean, does Pittsburgh
Saints?
make a call?
What about the Saints?
Saints? Houston?
Where's Tom Brady going from Tampa Bay? He's
probably going to the Raiders.
That'd be
Josh
great.
McDaniels gonna have a reunion.
Yeah, go have it. Yeah. By the way, so you're telling me my Zion Williamson PSA 9 rookie card is not aging well, Josh? Is that what you're telling me? My Prism is not aging well. PSA 9. Come on.
It's called hope for the best, prepare for the worst, my friend. Okay.
Oh, gonna take a Krusty the Clown Simpsons voice. Gonna take a bath on this.
Listen, Brady's gonna turn around and say, I've been through 2 divorces, and Josh McDaniels has almost been through 2 divorces too, professionally. So I mean, they're made for each other.
Go to Vegas and do it up. That could be actually a lot of fun. Josh McDaniels is a terrible head coach.
He's not a good coach.
No.
A couple more games I want to ask you about before I let you go. Andy McNamara joining us here on a Friday edition of Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. All right, give it to me. Eagles, Giants, go.
Well, the main thing for the Eagles, you want to get out of this healthy. To me, that's it. That's really the main issue on this one, right? You want to get out of this game healthy. You want to be able to say, okay, you know, you don't want to mail it in or anything like that. You want to keep it fresh. You want to do all that good stuff, but you need to be able to say, all right, let's make sure we get that. Now, if they win, they're guaranteed the top seed, right? I'm not wrong on that, right?
They win the top seed and the division. They lose, they could drop. Yeah. Basically, here's the way it works. If the Cowboys win and the Eagles lose, Cowboys win the division, and the Cowboys would probably end up being the 2 seed. San Fran would be the 1 seed.
Right.
If the Cowboys lose and the Eagles lose, Eagles win the division, but Eagles don't have the 1 seed.
Right. So when you look at it like that too, like I still maintain you got to get out of it healthy. You're going to be in the playoffs. I think you're going to be in a good spot. But that dip, that's legit. That's a lot. And for the Giants, you got that wild card spot. By the way, that last NFC wild card spot is going to be real fun, right? Because you could have.
That's our last game we're getting to. Hang on, we'll get there.
Okay, we'll get there. I'm excited about it. But you know what? I hope for the Eagles that they are able to get that top seed. I think they've earned it. They deserve it. They've worked so hard this year to get it. I wouldn't want to see them dip that low. Look, it's a winnable game. The Giants really don't have that much to play for either. I guess there would be some wild card 9-6-1. Would there be some wild card?
Well, the Giants are already in. The Giants are already in.
Like they're in, but they would have the highest wild card spot, right? They'd have the highest seed.
After
Dallas. Well, if Dallas goes that way.
Keep talking. Let me double check that because
depends. So Eagles, Cowboys.
So if Dallas loses, Dallas would be 12-5.
Yeah.
The Giants win, they'd be 10-6-1. So they would still be the 6th seed.
Yeah, and even if they lost and went 9-7, you'd have the Lions or Packers at 9-8 or the Seahawks 9-8. So they'd still on winning percentage be that number 2 on the wild card. So they wouldn't. So really, what I'm saying is they wouldn't have that much to play for, right? Division game, they're going to be playing hard, I'm sure. But
the Giants are pretty much locked into playing Minnesota. The only way that doesn't happen is if the 49ers lose to David Blau and the Arizona Cardinals.
Who knows?
And Kyle Shanahan has already come out and said that almost everyone is available to play this week.
Debo's playing.
Which sounds, you know what it sounds like to me? He's saying, I want to embarrass Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah. Oh, put the boots to him. Put the boots to him. Absolutely. No, but I'm picking the Eagles to win that one. And again, I think it's you get out healthy, you play motivated, you get that top, you earned it. Finish it. Finish it. Get that spot. You deserve it.
Finish him.
Finish him. You bring out the fatality and go into the playoffs on a high. You deserve it. Let's. I'm going to be rooting for the Eagles for sure.
All right, before I let you go, the last game we mentioned, I saved the best for last. It's going to be on Sunday Night Football right after the Eagles game. People can hear the Eagles game here on 97.3 ESPN. Merrill Reese, Mike Quick on the call, 4:25 kickoff. But after that, Sunday Night Football for all the marbles. It's Dan Campbell. It's Aaron Rodgers. It's all the beautiful drama that you can live for on Sunday Night Football.
Josh, who would have thought Week 18, the two evening main events on Saturday and Sunday would be Titans, Jags, and Packers, Lions.
And we want to watch.
And you want to watch. Who would have thought that? This game, the Lions Packers game is much more interesting to me because of its unpredictability. The Lions could put up 45 points. They could give up 45, right? They could score 10. They could give up 10. It's all over the place. The Packers have been surging. And Josh, I thought about this week because I was like, okay, how did the Packers turn around? They were dead and buried. Now they're here. And I think it's something Aaron Rodgers said a few weeks ago when people were talking about playing Jordan Love. And he said, look, I want to keep playing as long as we're in this. And it was simple, but it was direct. And I think that, not being in the Packers locker room or in the players' heads, I think you hear that if you're on the team, you're like, okay, this guy's not giving up. And the rarity that Aaron Rodgers and the Packers are underdogs. When have they been able to play that card? Never. It's a fresh card that you can play. And so now they're feeling it. And look, again, just like we hope the Jags get in for a fun start, I hope the Lions get in. Like the Dan Campbell post-game press conference and in the locker, come on. I need to see that. That guy's going to be power bombing people, giving stone cold stunners, swantons on the thing. I don't know. I can't wait.
I mean, is WWE coming to Detroit anytime soon on their tour? Like,
I don't. That or AEW. Well, one of the two. Just get there and bring Dan Campbell.
They got to go there, and they got to be like, how much do we got to give Dan Campbell money-wise just to show up and do something? Like, that crowd would lose their minds.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
It would almost be at the level of when CM Punk first showed up at AEW when the crowd lost their minds, right? Like
they went crazy.
By the way, what would Dan Campbell's walkout song be? Like a Metallica song, I guess.
Oh, now would you have to go something like something from Detroit? Like would you have to go like a Detroit band or something? Which I couldn't name you. I couldn't name you honestly any Detroit or Michigan band, but I would maybe something like that. I don't know who's from where. I've never been to Detroit. I don't plan. It's not on my to-do list. But
there is a band called Detroit, right?
Is there?
Yes.
No, there you go. Or something with, I don't know. If I'm thinking wrestling song though, I think he comes out to
White Stripes.
No, if it's WWE, you get the copyright. You have the glass break to come up to Stone Cold. That's the one. That's the one, right? Glass break. Campbell coming out chewing on the glass that just broke. I think it writes itself. They got to win.
Right, so what was your pick again? I'm sorry.
I don't think I made it. I want the Lions. Let's go.
Right.
I'll go Lions. Why not? Let's have some fun with this, man. I'm gonna go Lions. What's the line on that one? It's I'm looking 5 for the Packers. No way. Lions take it. Lions last second one. Let's get nuts. Let's go. Go Detroit.
At Andy MC81 on Twitter to give him a follow. He joins us each week during the football season. Football Fridays are back with Andy here on 97.3 ESPN. Andy, what do you got going on this weekend? What 200 shows are you doing? Go.
Well, dropping later tonight is my sick podcast with Andy McNamara. Talk about the Jadeveon Clowney situation. Set up all the fantasy football fall. Hey, for you listeners, I want to know your fantasy football moment of shame this year. We talk about that on the show. Get me on Twitter. What regret do you have? What was your moment of shame? I share mine, and I got some sick picks too. The NFL best bets coming up for Week 18. So lots of fun there. That's on YouTube at SickPodBrowns, on Twitter at AndyMC81.
Mine was last weekend. I played Kirk Cousins instead of Jared Goff.
Oh, you know what? I did the same in one league. I did. Disappointing.
Got Goff just sitting on the bench there. I went with Cousins. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man. Mine was I didn't pay attention to how much in our keeper league Alvin Kamara was, and I thought I read it was $6 for the budget, and it was 62, and it ruined my year. It was just bad. It was just, I mean, like I was in too many leagues this year, and it was a disaster. I'm like, it screwed me from the start.
Andy, enjoy the football weekend. We'll talk soon, my friend.
All right. Go Eagles. See you, buddy.
Andy McNamara joining us here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. I'll give you my rapid pick thoughts for the football weekend next on 97.3 ESPN.
It's Sixers basketball tonight on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the 76ers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
Well, here's Joel right down the lane. A two-hand slam. Embiid attacks the paint and dunks it.
It's Sixers Bulls tonight. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Philadelphia 76ers basketball on your radio home of the Sixers in South Jersey. 97.3 ESPN.
Hey, this is Josh Hennig reminding you to trust Jenkins Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Because when we needed to make the 97.3 ESPN studio comfortable, that's who we called, and you should too. No need to call the drain guy, the heater guy, or the plumbing guy. Jenkins technicians are trained to do it all. For new heating and air installation, service and maintenance, ductless air conditioning systems, water heaters, boilers, oil service, plumbing and drain cleaning services, call 609-641-6262. Online at jenkinsandsons.com.
If you're looking to move out of your parents' place, you could really cut expenses by bundling your car and renter's insurance with Progressive, which is good because your little brother has gotten really territorial. You're blood related. You'd think it would be fine to share food in the fridge. I mean, who writes their name on every individually wrapped slice of cheese, Tyler? Still, you've got to admire the commitment. So bundle your renter's and car insurance with Progressive and use the savings to help you move out and have all the cheese you want. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliates and third-party insurers.
By now, you know that sound. It's the sound of the Home Depot. But what about those sounds? Those are the sounds of an LG wash tower with ultra-large capacity, serving up a powerful yet gentle clean in just 29 minutes. Making this the sound of savings on the best appliance brands. The Home Depot. How doers get more done. Get up to 25% off the LG wash tower with ultra-large capacity and reduced wash time. Pricing valid January 5th through January 25th, 2023. Gas Dryer Extra. U.S. only. See store or online for details.
May old car problems be forgot in a brand new SUV.
Stop! You can't start the new year in an old car. Looking for some holiday cash? Then don't miss Matt Platt Nissan's Holiday Vehicle Buyback. It doesn't matter what you drive. AJ, the tradesman, wants to buy your vehicle today, regardless of the make, miles, condition, or situation. AJ will buy your ride for cash today. So treat yourself to a brand new Nissan Rogue. 0 down, 0 payments, 0 interest on every new Matt Platt Nissan Rogue.
It's on at Matt.
All qualify. Go to MattPlattNissan.com for complete details or call 844-917-4758. Price includes all costs to be paid by consumer except for licensing, registration, and taxes. Expires 1/31/23. It's on at Matt Platt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township.
When you can't stop, there's Vicks VapoRub. Vicks VapoRub sends powerful medicated Vicks vapors right to the source of your... so you can experience cough relief and breathe easier. Generations of families have trusted Vicks VapoRub to help relieve the worst cold symptoms. So next time you have a cough, reach for the Vicks VapoRub. Vicks VapoRub. Cough relieving is believing.
Hey listener, welcome to Limu's Karaoke Lounge, where Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need, and the music never stops. Hit it!
There's an emu with a full-time job.
His partner's Doug, but Limu's the heartthrob. Grubs and worms, that's what Limu eats. Gotta fuel up to save you money and hit the streets. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
All right, wrapping up the Friday show here on Game Night, being brought to you by Jenkins and Sons. Give them a call like 97.3 did to make our studio comfortable. That's who we called. 609-641-6262 for heating and air installation, service and maintenance, ductless air conditioning systems, water heaters, boilers, whatever you need done. Jenkins has you covered. 609-641-6262 online at jenkinsandsons.com. All right, let's get some thoughts on the football weekend. Again, these are recommendations and suggestions and things that I think about the weekend games. These are not guarantees or locks. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. College football is over, so we're stuck with the NFL just this weekend. I already miss it. I know the national championship game's Monday night, but after that, it's the next several months, no college football, just NFL, and just hope the XFL gives you something to have a little fun with football-wise this offseason. Look, I said it earlier. I agree with Andy's sentiment. Andy said take the under in the Jags-Titans game. I like the Jags to win the game outright. Maybe it's something where, if you wanted to do a same-game tease of that number, I don't know exactly how that works in certain books, but I know you can do teases on numbers. But I agree with him. I think it's going to be like a Jags 20-10 kind of game. I really think they win that game. Honestly, some of the games on Sunday, I don't think we really have a good feel for. We don't really know what's going to happen in the Patriots-Bills game. So I would stay away from that game. I think Minnesota basically embarrasses the Bears. No Justin Fields this week. That 5.5 feels very favorable. I don't care if Kirk Cousins plays or not. I think that number is going to be more than 5.5 by the end of that game. Also, I think Ravens-Bengals is probably going to go under. I mean, Tyler Huntley is playing instead of Lamar Jackson. The Bengals have a good defense. Those guys are well rested after not really playing a full game on Monday Night Football. 39.5 is the number. I expect the Bengals to win something like 20-10 as well. I'm with Andy. I want the Lions to win, but I can't pick against Aaron Rodgers. But what I can do is I can sit here and say the 4.5 or 5, depending on what book you're looking at, it feels too much. I think the Packers win, but probably by a field goal in that game. And finally, look, the Eagles have lost 2 straight. Me picking the Eagles has lost 2 straight. Am I the jinx or is it Jalen Hurts? I'm just kidding. No, look, the Eagles are going to win the game on Sunday. All right. I told you guys that if they don't win one of these 3 final games, I told you guys this 3 weeks ago. They had 3 games left. They'll lock up the number 1 seed in the division. And I told you guys before, and I'll say it again here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. If they don't win, this team has way bigger problems than losing 2 games without Jalen Hurts. Way bigger problems. Melrose might quick call the action this Sunday. Coverage begins at 3 p.m. 4:25 is kickoff on 97.3 ESPN. Shout out to Jeff in Ocean City for chiming me on the text board. Also, shout out to the texter who didn't leave his name, but he says, Kid Rock's from Michigan. That should be the walkout music for Dan Campbell. I mean, listen, I know WWE has some rights, couple of Kid Rock songs. That would make sense. All right, I see you. I'm picking up what you're putting down. I like it. Thanks again to Andy McNamara for joining the show. First conversation with Andy in the new year. Hope you guys are having a great week and you have a great weekend. I'm Josh Hennig. This is Game Night. Have a great week, everybody. 97.3 ESPN.
Saturday morning in the locker room with Billy Schwein. Mike Carlin joins me in the studio. It's a must-win for the Eagles on Sunday. We'll take a look. The sportsbook consigliere Dave Sherapan checks in from Las Vegas. To you by Dino's Subs and Pizza of Margate with his insight on betting the big games this weekend. The Flyers and Sixers have been playing well, and we'll examine why. Sunday will be broadcasted live from the pool at Harris to kickstart the NFL Sunday Splash. It's the locker room with Billy Schwein, Saturdays and Sundays from 10 a.m. to noon on 97.3 ESPN.
All right, Josh Hennig on the YouTube side only. Thanks for watching the YouTube. Subscribe, hit that like button, share it with your friends. We try to do the post-show a little bit at the end. I just wanted to elaborate on something that I put out on social media last night. A little bit on Twitter, a little bit on Instagram, at Josh Hennig on Twitter, at Josh West Hennig on Instagram. I love, and I mean love, the fact that Kyrie Irving is one of the all-star voting leaders right now. We live in a world where people hate anyone who doesn't fit in their little box, who doesn't conform to what they want. Look, did Kyrie Irving make a big, stupid mistake? Yes. Now, did he make that mistake because it was an intentional mistake, or was it non-malicious? I tend to think, from the information that I know about Kyrie Irving and his people and the people who he's around, that it was non-malicious. But Kyrie Irving already had a tainted reputation among the elitists in the mainstream media because of his position on COVID and the lockdowns and the vaccines and a lot of different things, that he basically felt like there was a lot of things that were going on that he had questions about, that he had concerns about. And people try to paint him as a conspiracy theorist, as an obstinate individual. Kyrie tried to explain the fact that, this was a health concern and a societal concern for why he didn't want to take the vax. And then remember, he didn't play all those games. This was already on the top of the fact that Kyrie Irving a few years ago, questioned if the earth was round or flat. So he's always been this contrarian. He's always been this nonconformist. And because of that, people don't like him. He doesn't fit into the nice, neat box that people want to put athletes in. He is someone who's different. He asks questions. But the problem is that Kyrie is a better human being than the people who talk trash on him, the people on social media, the people on television who really despise him with a passion. Kyrie Irving does so much for charity. He does so much for so many people that never gets publicized in the media. This is a guy who used his own money to help fund the WNBA restarting their season in their own bubble, separate from the NBA. This is a guy who is going out of his way to help charities, help people. And again, never looks for attention, never does for the spotlight, never says, Kyrie Irving's here, folks. Look at me giving away my money. He doesn't do that. But no one talks about all the good Kyrie does. It's all just, look how stupid Kyrie is. So there's some beautiful irony here that Kyrie Irving leads the Eastern Conference. We live in a society where if you make a mistake, you say the wrong thing, you do the wrong thing, you're ostracized, you're treated like trash. Whereas someone has a DUI and kills someone rapes a child, someone's a molester. Oh, we gotta be understanding. Those people make mistakes. But Kyrie Irving, no, let's trash him like he's evil. Society's got his priorities mixed up, folks. And I love the fact that Kyrie is out there doing his thing and leading the Eastern Conference, because it shows you there's a lot of people out there who are independent thinkers, who are not just doing what they're told all the time. It's nice to see that people can think for themselves. Look, we could have a deeper conversation about Kyrie's positions on African-American history and on American society in relation to the government, and how far is too far to question government officials, right? How far is too far to question science? We can have those deeper conversations, but we're not having those conversations. Instead, it's just Kyrie's stupid, Kyrie is evil. No. Kyrie's a human being. If we had the same passionate vitriol that people have directed at Kyrie Irving for actual bad people, maybe the world would be a safer and better place. And the same thing is going on with Peyton Hillis right now. Peyton Hillis is in the ICU. Half the world doesn't care. Why? Because they didn't see him drop on national TV on Monday Night Football. Instead, he's in the ICU recovering because he jumped in the ocean to save his children from drowning. They raised $7 million for DeMar Hamlin's toy drive. I like to see someone set up a GoFundMe account to take care of Peyton Hillis. The point is, we pick and choose who the heroes and villains are. We got to stop doing that. Either everyone gets the same amount of mercy or nobody does. I'm Josh Hennig, at Josh Hennig on Twitter, Josh Hennig YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, share it with your friends. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good Friday night. I'll be back on Monday with Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app, and live right here on my YouTube channel. And hopefully we will have time coming up soon now that I'm not working myself into the ground and practically being killed by this job. Hopefully we'll be able to start up the Mutant Blitz podcast again right here. Subscribe, like, share with your friends. YouTube. Take care, everybody.